Guys, we're here back at Byford one more time here as we're getting ready to wrap this up. I'd say we got about maybe 3 to 4 more days left. That means this whole job would have took right around 2 weeks to finish. As you can see, what was wood paneling is now painted, our trademark gray that we go with. And we kind of have a similar style that we go with for all of our houses, right? I know you watch a lot of the HGTV programs and they come in and they do a lot of interior design and change for every house. But honestly, for us that are kind of doing flips or rentals or even doing flips, you like to kind of establish yourself on maybe 1 or 2 patterns of what you do. So this is what we do now. Gray is kind of an in-trend color. So we have our gray, we get it from PPG, Miracle, I believe that's how you pronounce the name of it. And then we go to our white, oil for the wood. I know some states have gone away from using oil, but they have similar products that do the same thing. Oil for the wood, and then white for the ceilings. We like to have a dark floor. The floor in this house was already in pretty good shape. So I'll show you here. It's already in pretty good shape. So we're just going to keep that same flooring. I'm not going to spend the money on this property here to go ahead and put in new flooring. I do, as a matter of habit, like to change out all the light plugs, lights, and sockets and everything. So I'm gonna go through the house and switch all these out. I like to have them all the same color. I go with white, and I go with the white casing around it. Okay, so like see this here, we'll change that out. And so you can see we're making good progress here. This is really just about a week and a couple days worth of work. See that oil there? See how it shines and reflects that light? We like that. That makes that look really nice and new. Now, something about that smell as well, that new paint smell that you get when you paint the house and you use some oil. This is one of the bedrooms, and if you recall, I mean, this place smelled like dog horribly, and but not so much anymore. That smell is gone. Just my personal style. You can see we took all the ceiling fans out. Those are some older ceiling fans. If you look back at the other video, the earlier video, I'm gonna put new ceiling fans in here. There's some great ceiling fans we pick up from the store at $49 a ceiling fan, and I like to put them in all the bedrooms. Let's take a quick look here. Now, closets is very common here in Texas that closets are just painted white, the entire closet. Any kind of woodwork you see here, like this wood, that will be painted with oil. So he needs to still go on and put the oil on the wood there. But that's how closets are typically done in Texas. Right? We could go with gray on the walls and white on the ceilings. I've done that before, but it's not really 100% necessary. Now, if you take a look at these AC vents, I mean, this is generally in pretty good condition. You do see a little bit of rust spots, but what we do, instead of, when they're in shape like this, we'll take those down and then we'll spray paint them white as well and put them back up. So that saves us money on having to replace the AC units. I'm sorry, the AC vent covers. Here's another closet, as you can see. Okay, it's been painted, at least one. Oh no, it hasn't been fully painted. We got a little work to do here. So we need to go in and paint this again or paint it for the first time. At least they painted some of it, I think, but not this wall for sure, with all these kind of marks on it. This is why you need to do a good job in double checking your contractors. Today just happens to be one of the days when they're off site doing a lot of the sanding and painting on like the doors and things that they don't want to get dust on. So here's the bathroom. Now this is a thing, I talked to my wife and you talk to other folks. We had a toilet in here, as you can see. If you look back on the first video, and it was an older looking toilet and not very efficient in terms of its water usage and things. So I've opted to put all new toilets in the house. Now toilets run around $100 to $200 each, depending on what you get. But to me, it's well worth it. If you go through all this work to make sure the house is redone, then adding a new toilet in there just really adds to that. So here's the bathtub, and right now it's been cleaned up once. We have not gone and caulked it or anything like that yet, but it's been cleaned up, and some people will tell you, oh, this is good enough, just let it go. But I still see some yellow around the bottom of the tub there. So I'm likely to go in and refinish this tub. Not replace it, but refinish it to make sure that we have a nice, clean appearance. Grant is coming in tomorrow. So we're going to get rid of this countertop here. We're going to keep the faucet because that faucet's in great shape. So I'm going to keep that. It's silver. The lights are silver. While they're not my taste and they're kind of border on kind of being old, I'm going to keep those. Once again, it is a rental property. Changing them out is not going to do anything to the ARV of the house. So we're going to go with the silver as opposed to bronze is what we normally go with. We'll go with the silver for the light fixtures and the faucet. That'll save us a little bit of money in terms of just not having to buy materials. So as you know, my style is that I do some of the work myself. Sometimes I bring contractors in to do the work. Other times I'll do all the work myself. I know this goes contrary to the popular philosophy that a lot of real estate investors put out there, which is to do as little as you can, pay people to do everything, leverage, leverage, leverage. That is one philosophy, and if you are very astute, you can do that and make it work. Just me right now, this time in my life, I am less interested in acquiring a bunch of debt and less interested in having a lot of bills. So some of the work I will do myself. I'm capable of doing it all, but some of it I'll go ahead and do myself just to keep that overall construction bill under control. So things like ceiling fans, changing out electrical sockets, installing sink fixtures, garbage disposals, even new tub faucets and fixtures and stuff like that. I will go ahead and take care of a lot of that stuff myself. Here we have the closet in the master bedroom. Okay, so you can see, it's been cleaned up a lot since we first had the first video. Okay, we're still in process here. We got a beautiful granite we're going to replace this with. I just think that this looks kind of old and dated. This countertop here looks old and dated, so we want to replace that with the new granite countertop. Undermount sinks, we're going with square sinks, and then we're going to have a bullnose edge on it. I think it's going to look absolutely beautiful. And we need to then do something with this mirror. Let's take a quick look at this, right? So we can replace the mirror, we can rehab the mirror, lots of different options to do with that. So I'll replace this light fixture once again because it is old, and the contractors always need a bathroom to go to. So one of the new toilets has already been installed so they'd have some place to go to the restroom. Okay, and here's the master tub. We got a little bit of a water leak going on here, so we're going to have to get in there and do a little bit of plumbing work. Once again, this is something I can do myself, but the contractor I have on this job, he can take care of it for us, and it's basically going to be for little to nothing in terms of our overall change in cost or price. So I'll let him go ahead and have the pleasure of making that repair. Now let's go on back out to the kitchen so you can see what we're doing there. If I were flipping this house, I very likely would have replaced all the cabinets. These are, however, custom-made cabinets. So these are 100% wood. They're custom built when the house was built back in, I want to say maybe the late 70s, early 80s when the house was built. So they're solid and they're strong. You saw how they looked earlier. They looked pretty rough, but this is what a good coat of paint can do. Now, there are people out there that'll come in and they'll paint your cabinets for you. And that's all they've done is just paint. Then you got other contractors that come in. You got to pay a little bit more for them, generally speaking, but they'll sand the cabinets down. They'll fix any defects and repairs in the cabinet, and then they'll go ahead and prime the cabinet and then paint it. This is an oil-based paint. That's why you see that shine there. Okay, so nice oil-based paint, and that's what the contractors did here. So they sanded the cabinets down, repaired any defects, and then sprayed the paint on. So you could spray paint or you could use a brush. You get that really nice shiny finish very often when you spray, with a spray gun. So, I'm not a paint expert. There are people that have been doing painting for 20 and 30 years, so they could tell me a lot about painting. But just from my experience personally, you'll get this type of nice, smooth, glossy finish when you're using a spray gun. But if you're using a brush, sometimes you get those brush strokes, and the cabinet just doesn't look, or the cabinet or the trim, it just doesn't look as nice and pristine as it looks here when you have the when you use a spray gun. Okay, so you can see how they sprayed, and the white from the oil base went onto the wall. So they'll have to go back in and touch all that up and make sure that there's no difference between where the gray paint, you can see here where the white paint, I mean, you know, the oil base went overboard and went onto the wall. When they go do the touch up, they need to make sure that gray looks the same as the gray that's up top. It looks the same as the gray that's here on for the makeup. So I just wanted to give you a quick update on where the house is, what it looks like. Like I said, we're in roughly, I want to say day 9 or 10. I have to look at a calendar to get the exact count. And that's where we're at. Thank you, and I'll see you later.